I'm Ray, and I'm 25 now. And this thing happened to me when I used to work at a warehouse as an associate. My shifts were mostly at night, which was quite hard for me as I'm a day person. But I needed that job badly, as I was pretty broke at that time. This warehouse that I worked for was very strict when it came to work ethics. Literally, even negligible mistakes could cost you your job. So those days, I had always been cautious, especially since I was warned a few times for being late by a couple of minutes. I never gave them any chances further to kick me off, except for this one night, when I thought I would surely get fired, and it was also the same night when this story took place. I had a party on a Sunday night at my friend's place. The next day, which was Monday, I slept the whole daytime. I woke up very late with a headache. As soon as I saw the time, it freaked me out. In no time, I had to rush for my shift. When I got into my car, I felt like hitting myself as I forgot to refill the gas. Being so frustrated, I went to the street and began searching for cab services, but that demanded too much time, which I was already running short of. I felt very upset about everything that evening, until a black SUV that was coming towards my direction slowly stopped right in front of me. On the driver's seat, I saw a man that looked like he was in his mid-40s. He was bald and had a good beard. After stopping by, he lowered the window glass to ask if I needed a lift, and also said that I happened to be anxious. I took a few seconds to decide about what I should say to this man. He looked like a generous person and didn't seem to be sketchy at first. Since I was super late for my work, I didn't think any further and told him that it would be great if he could give me a lift. He nodded with a grin on his face and told me to get inside. Just then, one of my coworkers called me, and I went towards the back side of the car to answer the call. After the call, I got inside the car and said sorry to the man for keeping him waiting, to which he didn't react at all and just started the drive. I couldn't understand why all of a sudden his attitude changed. Whatever the reason was, it felt really strange. He just kept driving the car with a lifeless facial expression. As I was surfing my phone, something caught my vision. Despite the inside of the car was dimly lit, I was able to see that there was something in his pocket that seemed to be in the shape of a gun. After that sight, I began worrying, but didn't let it visible on my face. And just then, I realized that neither the man asked me where I was headed to, nor I told him, as I totally forgot about it because of the call. That was the ultimate red flag for me, and I started planning something to outplay this obnoxious guy. I came up with an idea, and accordingly, I said sorry to him again, and falsely told him that my dad's a police officer, and it was him that called this evening, and I said him everything about this evening, including this lift. I further told him that I had to share his license number with my dad, as he wanted to know. Hearing all this, he sat silent and started looking quite upset. Finally, he replied by saying, "I can understand." Those were his final words before I reached my destination. But I directed him to pull over a few meters ahead of my workplace so that he couldn't guess where I was going. Luckily, I arrived at my warehouse, barely on time, and somehow managed to save my job. For months, I used to wonder if that man would have harmed me that night. Until one morning, I saw him on a newspaper that reported about him being caught and arrested for robbing a young couple. He also had a history of kidnapping in the past as well.